talking about the sexual assault without, because you got to be careful not to.
Well, you don't want to make
light of it, right?
Yeah,
so,
sure.
but we spent a long time coming up with a formula to do that. With the sex toy bingo stuff that Spenny does, where you're putting messages in between that, so people are coming out, they're enjoying themselves, but they're still getting a positive message. And it's no different than the stuff that you're doing as well as certified sex coach, and as well as focusing on many aspects, also including mental health, the results of mental health and everything.
And there's a lot of things these students are going to get into and have things happening in their lives that it's not pertinent right now, but being older, they're going to have to deal with it. So I'm pretty honest about my sexual life and Sean will talk to me and I'll start the conversation going.
Yeah.
And we just want to have an open conversation, because the worst thing that can happen with this stuff, especially sex, because it still is sort of taboo, believe it or not, even in today's world with the internet and porn available everywhere you go, I still find that people aren't as honest as they should be about these issues. Would you agree?
I agree 100%. I think that the whole key behind this, and the whole reason behind even doing this shit, is the transparency aspect, is because the more that you can be open and honest, it's going to encourage other people to do the same.
Yeah, and it's very healthy.
It is healthy. Yeah, fucking 100%. Like, I have 0 skeletons in my closet right now, and I can't tell you can't do anything to upset me, because I've talked about my drug use. I've talked about mental health issues and breakdowns. I've talked about all this shit.
What about the beard?
Yeah, the beard is just a woman pleaser.
Oh, okay.
You found that out at the show.
I tried to grow one.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't come out that...
He looks like Fu Manchu.
I was waiting for that.
He can look pathetic so easily.
So let's be transparent with everybody watching. So people want to know about these crazy, and I know that there may not have been something so crazy. So let's just talk about, like, what was the most shocking thing you've ever done?
Well, I think a woman, if any woman that likes me is crazy.
Yeah.
And we can get into that whole theory that we discussed once.
And you managed to land yourself a pretty sweet wife. I've met your wife. She's
absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know how you pulled that one off, but she watched it.
You know why? No, that's why.
That's why, okay.
And she still won't watch it.
Good for you.
Then the divorce will come right after.
But that's actually an interesting point, because working as an X-Rated Hypnotist and doing the things we've done over 33 years, at the end of the night, you know what, I do get approached by a lot of it. Sometimes I'm oblivious to it, because we're so used to it. I'm going to the green room, packing up and everything. So sometimes I don't know when people are approaching me or they're interested. But then the ones that are predominantly interested have a different optic of who I am, because you see this aggressive guy on stage doing the most, fucked up shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a performance.
Yeah, but they think that I'm that guy, right?
Right.
And I go, fuck, I'm going to disappoint them, right? But
sure.
Thank God I've had a girlfriend, and I never did that. Never took anybody home from her. By
33 years. You can't be telling us the truth.
33 years, man.
I've been
there should be an award for that.
Yeah, it's weird. Somebody, Kim, a girl that I was a friend of mine in December, called me a serial monogamist, and I don't even know if that's a word.
No, it is.
It's a popular phrase.
Yeah,
but that's okay. I just I have to personally. I have to have that emotional bonding, and you know what? It's and when you talk about sexual performance, that, if you become the product of your environment, if you're around somebody that's like negative and they don't give that energy off, it's not going to work, right? It's not
right.
Things aren't going to work, and when you find somebody that has that spark, like it's. I feel like I'm 20 years old again. It's like I can't help but to smile right now, because it's fucking awesome.
Good for you, man.
Don't do a Tom Cruise and start jumping.
But it's the physical, the emotional side of things, and I never thought I'd find that, because I wasn't looking for it. But
it's there now.
Yeah, I can't explain it.
Yeah,
we can see that clearly.
Yeah. So the whole time that you've been touring, this 33 years, I've done your show with you.
Yeah.
You've taken like 5 tequila shots in a row sometimes. You're not at least. Sometimes it's 10 tequila shots. Yeah. And you're still not, like, you still haven't done any one night stands or anything like that. How is that fucking pot? I would not be able to.
You know what, if you think about it,
you should be ashamed of yourself.
at the end of the shows, you know, what is you got a few hundred to thousands of people in the audience. At the end of the night, I realized I've just been up there for 90 minutes.
Yeah,
exhausting,
and I'm exhausted. I'm soaked, and I want to get back to the green room and catch my. By the time that happens, and I go back out, and people stick around, and we take pictures and do signing offs and whatever else. But you know, and even if there was somebody there that you might be interested in. You know, there's another 10 people behind them, so you don't really get a chance to talk to by the time everything's said and done with.
And then they think you're not interested because you're trying to meet everybody.
Yeah, you know, it's and that's okay too, because it wasn't something I was really looking for.
We're on our most likes yet.
Oh, that's cool. Is anybody asking any questions that they want to know? Okay.
Yeah, but maybe we should say that.
If you want to
ask any questions,
if you want to ask any question, we've got someone looking at the iPad, so go ahead and comment away or question.
Tony would be thrilled not being able to answer your question.
No, you know what? I'll answer it. If you send it and you ask,
I hope
just
girl.
Just remember.
What are you talking about? I had sex with them.
Don't ask a question if you
don't want the answer.
But you know what? I've been very, very close. I thought when I was single, and during my single times, I was thinking, okay, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to go. That's it. No more. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do what all the people do, and I'm just going to go on dates and take people out. And then when it gets to that point, it's like I can't do it.
You just got
and
just got to be in a relationship.
Yeah. And
what about you, man? Tell me about.
Sorry, I fell asleep.
It's okay. It's okay. You have to have had a bunch. Tell me, you've had a bunch of one-night stands. We've talked about.
I've had a lot, but again, I was younger, and things do slow down when you get older, and I don't mind saying that. And your values change, right?
I 100% agree.
You know, a lot of things, that would be uncool to say. I don't mind saying because, like you, it's the truth and it's healthy.
Yeah.
But again, what precisely you're asking me? All you see want to know is numbers. Like there has to be
not just numbers. I'm asking you. Okay, tell me a story about something that was just something that anybody that's watching you that wants to live that celebrity lifestyle. When was the time where you felt like this is everything that kind of everybody wants? When you're in with that woman that's like say it's a model.
Well, you got to understand. I was active with women before I was ever on television.
Right.
And
I hope so.
Really?
No. Well, I hope so. But I mean, so then you see the clear difference. Well, no, like child stars, I never had a shot.
No, you're right.
Okay,
I agree.
so I had lots of my sexual years where I wasn't on television. And it's just easier. It's just easier because people know who you are, and for whatever reason, they find this world exciting. And, and you take advantage of it.
Okay, what about that superficial level? When you weren't in television, and
that's a whole other train wreck.
When you talk about it's like, that guy's a 5 and she's a 10, whatever else, and not saying that you're a 5.
Thank you.
But now, when you did move into the world of television, did you find that the type of people that were attracted to you changed?
No, because I used to have to work for it before I was on television.
So you don't have to work. You didn't have to work for it as much at that. No.
Okay. And then the internet, because I'm old enough to when that first period of my sexuality happened, teenage years, 20s, and all that. There was no internet.
Right.
So that was a huge.
That was like in the 50s.
A mind-blowing thing for me. Like I used to go into chat rooms. I don't know what year it was, but it was because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
So I didn't even, and this is. I think the chat rooms were sort of the beginning of what's now Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, I agree.
And there was no pictures.
You didn't know.
So I was probably talking to a guy from a truck driver.
No, there's anything wrong with that. But
no. But I'm just saying.
If there were pictures, it would take forever to download that one picture.
Oh yeah, that was fucking dial-up.
But these kids today and adults today, they have no idea how difficult it used to be.
Chucky says hands don't count, Spenny.
What?
Hands don't count?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? Ask me
Your previous sex encounters.
Your previous sex encounters meaning you jerked off a lot.
Yeah. He says
well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Well, you didn't, buddy? Who are you? I don't like them already. Starting with me already.
Yeah.
Why, you don't masturbate?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always the biggest losers. This guy has probably not been laid in his entire life, and he's talking to me. Now, I'm not going to sit here and brag, because that's not my thing. But if you want to get out in the gutter, buddy, you hit me up on Twitter and Facebook, and we'll go, baby.
Yeah.
Well, if you weren't supposed to masturbate, why would put your hand so close to,
Yeah, to that region.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's just too simple.
Yeah, sure.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so have you ever? Tony doesn't. He's never tried anal sex. Have you? I imagine you're a pretty experimental guy.
That's the delicate art of ass fucking. Yes, I've tried it. It's it was like not a regular thing usually. There's many women for very good reasons because we all believe in consent and you doing what like that don't like it. I've been with women who it actually is the only way they can have an orgasm.
Through ass sex.
Correct. Okay. So I'm being honest. Like it's not something that I did a lot, but occasionally I did do it. It's difficult too, as if you know. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you're a little bit soft, it's kind of hard to get it in there, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And, well, it's not hard.
But why am I doing this? But it's if it's consenting and people are enjoying it, you do it, right? Everything's complicated to me. Every person's sexuality is complicated because it deals with their past, it deals with their inhibitions, it deals with their insecurities. So you just have to go on a case by case basis.
I agree. Everything is going to be. Every person is different. Every experience is going to be different. Is kind of what you're getting at. Okay. So when we're on stage together. There's a lot of stuff that gets brought up that's pretty fucked up. Like we'll bring up stuff about bestiality. That's okay. We'll bring up stuff about bestiality. What else do we bring up? It's pretty. I mean,
bestiality is pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. That's the upper end of weird. Then poop sex. That's the extreme end of weirdness. So you're sort of. I don't know where you're going. You're gonna go backwards.
No. I'm trying to just sort of say like we talk about some pretty obscure things. But behind closed doors, it sounds like we're all pretty vanilla guys. No? You wouldn't say vanilla?
No.
Okay, so what are the things that you're into? Are you into BDSM stuff?
Not really. You told me this, and I always knew this, but you put it into words, which is the most erogenous organ that we have is the brain.
Yeah.
And I think
most
that
powerful.
Without getting too specific, I like to use my brain sexually.
Sure.
And so it's not just a physical experience; it's an intellectual experience, and
absolutely,
intellectual might be a bit strong, but that's always been something. And I think it was because I didn't start. Every young man usually loses his virginity in a sense to pornography of our generation, and oddly for me, it was a book. It was like a paperback, dirty book.
Yeah.
And it should be in the Smithsonian right now because that got a lot of use. I'm telling you right now. And so that was a story reading, So you can call it role playing. You can call it what you want. Many people do it.
Yep.
I'm not talking about costumes, and and many people do that. Nothing wrong with that. But what I'm comfortable saying is that this is. I never the S&M thing. I found that there was women that I'd seen when I was single that were quite submissive.
Okay.
They seemed to mostly be submissive, and there was an intellectual component to that and a storytelling component to that, which was a turn on for me.
Well, I always thought I've had partners, in the past where the mental side of things just weren't there, and
it didn't click intellectually.
No, well, intellectually, but maybe perhaps it was just a draining experience. Living in the world where there perhaps in some cases there was negativity, or it just wasn't there. So I think a lot of that mentally blocked me from actually when we did engage. It was difficult to be in the moment, and I'm thinking, well, maybe it's just because I'm getting older or whatever else, and that's normal erectile dysfunction and everything, but it's not, because it's no frickin' issues now.
For people like me, and I'm sure there's millions, if that component doesn't exist, it's just a void which could be a huge turn on, right? Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't exist, it's for someone like me, it's not as good. That's it. So you figure out that as you go through life, and if you're honest about it, you start to realize what it is that turns you on, what you like, what you don't like, and then it's a matter of having the balls to go after it.
So you like your balls played with? Speaking of balls,
yeah, who doesn't?
Any fingers in your ass?
It's happened.
We're always
mostly by Dr. Les Richmond, who told me I have no polyps. So
it seems like we're always going towards the ass side of things.
Yeah, I don't know why we do that. It's so funny.
You don't know why on the Sean Evans show? I think it's quite clear.
Okay.
Here's this question: How do you you like anal sex?
Of course. Yeah, it's my
Giving-
favorite.